Hey everyone, welcome to my first video. This is meant to be something you can listen to in the background, maybe while you're winding down or getting ready to sleep. So with that said, let's get into the first story. I shouldn't have ever become a parent. And now, I'm stuck in this life forever. I relate when people say they regret having kids, but regret is a weird word here because I never exactly had a choice in choosing to have my son. What I regret is that I allowed my life to become this way. I'm 22, FE physically and mentally disabled. Shouldn't live alone, can't figure out driving, in physical pain constantly since I was 8. I'm autistic and have ADHD, which outside of my physical conditions, EDS, POTS, etc., is probably the most troubling conditions I have. And most days, my entire life, I have struggled remembering to eat, shower, just bad executive functioning that only got worse as I got a bit older and started heavily smoking weed. Like, not in the fun way, but locked in my room when I wasn't at work every day just smoking. I just really think it's terrible that this world let people like me, or anyone, have kids without making sure they are able to take care of the child. I live in Texas, and the first guy I ever dated or did anything with was incredibly abusive, tore me down completely, consistently SA'd me, and when I got pregnant, he left. My parents are my only family, and they're incredibly religious people. Considering I can't drive, and I didn't have any friends, and my parents are pro-birth, getting rid of it, which I wanted, was out of the question. If I had given my child up for adoption, I would have been kicked out or disowned, and I can't survive being homeless. So now, here I am, with an almost 2-year-old. I'd never let my son know any of this when he's older. None of this is his fault. But this body and life, I just don't recognize anymore. I haven't seen a single human outside of my household, work, I work full-time, the grocery store, and his doctor in nearly 2 years. My ex wants nothing to do with either of us, which I just can't understand because he purposefully got me pregnant, knowing I didn't want children and only wanted to use protection. My parents watch my son while I'm at work, but not outside of that because they both say they've done their time raising kids. They're getting older, both valid points, and that it was my fault for getting pregnant, so naturally, he's my responsibility. My entire life, I had truly set my heart on living a childless life. I've never enjoyed kids and have never felt a maternal bone in my body, but I've always had to mask to get by in public. And so that's just what I do now, all day, every day. My mother always told me I'd change my mind about wanting children once I had one, like she did. And now, of course, she holds her being right over me and insisting it's cruel to only have one child because she was an only child and grew up lonely. But while I love my son because he is physically here, if I could go back, I would. To be clear, I am never having more children unless I'm forced to again. I never wanted kids in the first place because I'm smart enough to know someone with my genes really shouldn't reproduce. I get so sad thinking about how I can't imagine anyone would want somebody like me. My son is so sweet, so smart, but I wish he wasn't mine. I can barely take care of myself, and I don't have the body of someone my age. But I'm trying my best. My 30 Ephrata husband's 33M bad attitude destroyed my attraction, and I don't know how to get it back. Hi Reddit. I know posting this won't magically fix things, but I really need outside perspective. There is very little intimacy in our relationship. We've been together for years, and things have gotten worse since having kids. It's not just that I'm tired or not in the mood. I have a strong aversion to intimacy. It's more than being turned off. When he touches me, I feel like I want to crawl out of my skin. When we do have sex, I often spend the first few minutes trying not to cry, or I cry afterward in the bathroom. I know my reactions make him feel unwanted, but I can't force myself to feel desire. This isn't happening for no reason. There are multiple behaviors that affect how I feel, but a major one is his mood. He has a very short temper. Sometimes he's sweet and attentive, but a lot of the time, he's angry, frustrated, or irritable. I never know which version of him I'll get. After our kids were born, his anger got worse. Yelling, swearing, slamming things, breaking things, punching doors, etc. When I bring these incidents up, he says I make him feel crazy because he doesn't remember them or says they didn't happen the way I describe. He did have a traumatic brain injury in his early 20s, so it's possible his memory is affected. After a blow-up, he'll be in a good mood for a while, but the tension always builds again. He also makes constant small jokes or criticisms throughout the day. Individually, they don't sound that bad, but it's non-stop sometimes. When I mention it, he gets upset and says I'm too sensitive. Strangely, I almost prefer the big outbursts because they're easier to process than the constant small comments. Recently, he's improved somewhat. He's less explosive, no more hitting things or yelling as much. I should feel proud of him, but he's still generally frustrated or negative. Sometimes he's suddenly cheerful and affectionate, and that actually makes me more anxious because it feels unpredictable and inconsistent. I feel stuck in a constant fight-or-flight state. He feels like nothing he does is enough. I feel like I can't relax or feel safe no matter what he does. On top of that, I handle most of the housework and parenting. By the time he's home, eaten, and on his phone, it's late. I do bedtimes, night wakings, dishes, and most cleaning. If I ask for a short break, he often reacts with sighs or frustration. Even when he agrees, he seems annoyed by the time I'm done. By the end of the day, when we're alone, I dread physical contact. I would rather be punched than have him grab me sexually. He's also often disengaged, doesn't respond when I talk, gives short replies, or doesn't look up from his phone. When I bring it up, he gets frustrated and says I overanalyze and that he should be able to relax at home. I worry I really am too sensitive or hard to please. I asked him to work on his anger, and he has improved, but it still doesn't feel like enough. I've realized he also has a generally negative attitude. Responsibilities annoy him. Other people's good fortune bothers him, and he often acts like life is unfair to him. I know life is hard, but being around constant negativity and irritability is exhausting. I've heard advice that women should just do it anyway with intimacy to help their relationship. He wants more enthusiasm from me, and I understand why. But I can't do that. I can't fake desire, and I feel awful about it. I feel like a terrible wife, but I also feel empty. I can't fix his attitude. Part of me wonders if fixing my own sensitivity would fix things. But I don't know how to live like this long term. What do I do? I want to save my relationship and create a healthy home for my kids. I feel completely lost. First, let me say, I, 19F, have cancer, and I don't like people bringing it up or making it my personality all the time. Anyway, a group of my friends, 2M, 3F, all went out together to go bowling and out to eat. Whenever we were bowling, my friend's BF, let's call him Jacob was asking questions about how I am with my cancer stuff, which I don't mind at all when people ask me until they make it the only thing we talk about, or they just make non-stop jokes about it. We then got to the restaurant, and as soon as we sit down, he's acting like a complete child, as if he never ever went into a restaurant before in his life. He kept yelling at the waiter because she has not gotten our drinks yet. He has his phone out, playing his movie so loud, just all in general acting like a toddler. I asked him if he can turn his movie down because we are trying to talk, and he looked at me and said, "No, cancer girl." WTF. I then look at my friend of the BF, and she is giggling, saying, "He is just joking around." Our food comes, and he turns his movie off. In the middle of eating, he flings food from a spoon. It gets in my wig, and I stand up to just walk away. When I was in the bathroom, I went ahead and took my wig off because it was all dirty. And if you don't know, crawfish has seasoning and juices all on it, along with a spoonful of that getting onto my wig. I was not trying to smell like that for the rest of the day. I told my friend, not of the BF, about how he is being so rude and needs to stop with the cancer jokes. She then says, "He does. I deal with him acting like this every time we go out." I told her if he says something one more time, I'm going to go off, because I have asked multiple times for him to stop, and me not being backed up shows how my friends are. Walking out of the bathroom, no wig on, I shit you not, he stands up, points at me, and says, "OMG, she's bald. Where is your hair? Where did go?" That was it. As soon as I got to the table, I started going off on him, telling him he needs to STFU. He's acting childish, and how surprised I am that he has a GF with the way he acts. More was said, but I can't say. He then sits down, shuts up, and everyone is mad at me. On the car ride home, it's all silent, and my friend of the BF tells me I need to apologize for being rude and yelling at him because he was just joking around. I told her no, he was being rude and inconsiderate. She told me we are not hanging out until I apologize. We all have plans to go in a limo for prom that I had gotten for free, and I don't know if I should cancel those plans with them or just apologize and all of us go to prom and out to eat.
Thank you so much for watching! Tell me how you feel about this video.